Hi everyone! Thank you so very much for joining us today. My name is Louisa. Welcome to Hobbii Live Shopping, to Hobbii Happy Hour. It is so nice to have you all with us. Before we get into it, I have a question specifically to Jillian, who just wrote that she's from Nova Scotia. And Matt's instant reaction was, oh, that must be very cold. And then I was like, well, I'm pretty sure they're kind of on the same latitude as us.
Yeah.
So, Jillian, just let us know really quickly, what's the weather like in Nova Scotia today, to give us an idea, to settle this debate once and for all.
I'm going to guess like 12 degrees.
I would have guessed 20 at least. I would have said it's probably the same as here.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'd imagine, I mean, Canada also has summer, so, you know. Hi, this is already, if in case you're very new, this is already exactly how the show goes. I talk about yarn, I talk about our offers, and then I get distracted by something, and immediately it's off the rails. But we're going to try and keep it a little bit contained today. We have 12 yarns selected for you today. I will, of course, tell you a little bit about those yarns. I will show you some ideas on what you can make with it. 38 degrees, says Jillian. Okay. Thank you very much. So we were both way off.
Whoa, that's a wave.
That is...
Okay. Heat wave?
That is hot. So thank you, Jillian. Good to know.
Wait, is that Fahrenheit?
Probably not. Jody says 26 in Nova Scotia, and Cynthia says 20.5. Okay, so I guess it might depend on where you are in Nova Scotia or which weather app you're using. But I was close then.
You were more right.
So it's close to us then, like relatively. Much warmer than Copenhagen. Well, what's Copenhagen today? Like 23? Yeah, it's fine. Pretty normal summer day. Like, I'm happy when I can go to work in a t-shirt but not get sweaty. Like, that's my ideal. Alrighty, so like I said, we've got 12 yarns selected for you today. I will tell you a little bit about all of those yarns. I will give you some ideas on what you can make with them. I'll also share some projects that you have made with those yarns. And of course, not only will I be talking about them, I'm also offering you a discount. I'll offer you a discount of 40% off on our selection. So that's those 12 yarns. They will be 40% off if you use our discount code HAPPY40. We have added an extra little discount for you today, which is code HAPPY50. HAPPY50 applies if your cart reaches an amount of $150 or more, and then all yarns from our selection will be 50% off if you use code HAPPY50. So if you are splurging, treating yourself to some yarns, and you realize, oh, whoop, what's that? That's $150 or equivalent in your currency, then feel free to apply code HAPPY50 for 50% off our selection. One thing that's good to know about our about how the code works is it does not apply on top of the bulk discount, it replaces the bulk discount. So if you're ordering a lot of skeins of yarn, the highest bulk discount we ever offer is 30%. Instead of those 30%, you would be getting 40%, or if your order qualifies, 50%. So just so you're aware. Also, that means that sadly the discount code has some trouble combining with yarns that have a bulk discount. So if you're shopping from our selection and you're shopping some other yarns, it'll essentially make you pick one of the discounts. This checkout will always pick whatever is the best deal for you. So if you only have one skein from our selection and 15 skeins from other yarns that are not part of the selection, it's going to take the bulk discount on those rather than the discount from the live shopping. It's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit complicated. All that's important for you to know is you get the amount off on our selection if you just shop from that. If you add other items, the checkout is always going to try and find you the best possible deal. If you really want to make use of all the possible discounts, you may need to place multiple orders. That's the discount situation. Like I said, it's a little bit complicated, but you should be able to... Is that not active?
Oh, was it up for...
Yesterday. Whoops. Wait, just copy it. No, I don't think you can do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
But just copy it and then reset the date. in case you're wondering why the codes are currently not working, that's just because I made a mistake when I set it up. I set it up for the wrong date. So you could have gotten everything from the chat yesterday if you had been commenting. No, you were. What are you doing? That's June.
Oh,
we're in July. I can see what Matt's doing on the screen.
I'll listen to that.
Are you on UK or are you on com?
This is on com.
Yeah, then it's 17.
Oh, but it's still just gonna work, right? And you just set it to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You just put it like that.
And that one is for tomorrow.
We'll just put it there.
Matt is going to set everything up and we'll work it out. All right, so... where was I? I see, this is what happens. Something happens, I get distracted, and so if you type our code happy40 or happy50 in the chat, you will get sent a link to our landing page, and that landing page is where you will find all of the yarns that we have selected for you today, as well as a bunch of awesome patterns that you can then you still need to do. Or have you? Okay, never mind.
Which?
Like it's connected, right? It's set up?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, okay. It's really distracting because it's essentially right in my line of sight where I would normally look to see like the yarns and stuff. So I'm like, what is happening here? If you type happy40 in the chat, you will receive a link to our landing page. Maybe we can show the landing page real quick. Oh, and now it works because now I can see people are getting the link. So amazing. So there we have the selection for today, and I have also linked a bunch of patterns before. So here you have here you have all the lovely things that we have on offer for you today. So with that said, I think we're gonna start getting into the yarns actually. Before that, quickly, we have 5 giveaways today in total. Those 5 giveaways will be given out at random throughout the course of the live. We will have one winner selected from everyone who clicked going on this Facebook event ahead of time. Thank you to all of you who did. One person will be drawn at random from that. We will also, at 2 times during the stream, randomly pick people from the chat. I will make sure to let you know when it's time to be active to be in contention for that, and that will be on YouTube and Facebook. Finally, we will pick 2 more winners. One will be chosen at random on Instagram, and I will make sure to let you folk on Insta know when it is time to spam the chat and make sure that Matt sees you and can pick a winner. And finally, we will pick 1 person at random from everyone who gives this video a little like. So that is how it works with the giveaways. I will make sure to mention it throughout the show, and for each of the 5 giveaways you can win a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. 25 monies, as I like to say. Happy40 in the chat, happy50 in the chat gets you the link to the landing page. Happy40 at checkout gets you 40% off our selection. Happy50 at checkout gives you 50% off our selection if your order total surpasses $150. So with that said, let's get going and let's get cracking. Is this the first yarn? We are going to start with the actual yarns that we have for you today. Kicking off with our Rococo Linen and Rococo Linen Multi. These are 2 lovely yarn blends, both made the same way. One is a solid color and one is a print or multi-colored yarn. The yarn is made of a blend of 36% viscose, 34% cotton, and 30% linen. So it is a really lovely soft blend. What you can see here is that you actually get all 3 of these fibers kind of like for themselves. So you get this really nice kind of bushy cotton fiber in the middle, and then you have the viscose and linen wrapped around it. And sometimes you get a little bit thinner parts where there's almost none of the cotton filling essentially, and then sometimes you get it really breaking out a little. So there is a lot of variation in thickness here. I'm actually currently working on a project with this yarn, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't remember to bring it. I am going away later today, actually, and so it is already in my suitcase. But when I got to the office this morning, I thought, well, I could have just packed it for the office so I could show you how it looks used up. So one thing that I will say is it is really fun to use, but be aware that you are going to have a lot of variation in thickness, and it is going to be quite noticeable. So it is going to give you that very, very organic, very handmade look, which I personally really love, but it is certainly something that you want to keep in mind when working a project with this. I'm making a little shawl. It's gonna be, if I've managed to finish it on time, it's gonna be a birthday present for my mom. If I don't manage to finish it on time, we shall see. I was originally making it for myself, then pivoted to making it for my mom. Maybe I will make it for myself after all. So with the print or the multi version and the solid version, one thing that's good to know is that they are kind of similar-ish in color, but they are not the same. So as you can see here with the green, for instance, this green kind of sits comfortably exactly between this yellow and this shade of green. So I know on the camera they look very, very similar. In real life, you will notice a difference between these. So they are they go together really nicely, but they are not perfectly identical. Same here with these shades. So that's just good to know if you're looking to combine them. They look great together. Just don't expect them to align perfectly on the colors. The recommended hook or needle size for this yarn is between a 2.5mm to 4mm. I'm working with a 4mm hook, and that works really nicely. Like I said, with the variation in thickness, you sometimes get parts where it's very, very thin and it gets that kind of almost net look to your project. I personally really, really like that, but again, just a matter of taste, I think. Someone is asking if I have a picture of my shawl. I don't. Well, it's essentially a variation of my little scarf that I've made a bunch of times. I don't have it with me, at least. I've shown some of my scarves on previous live streams, but I don't have a current one right now. So yeah, just to give you an idea. And then of course I keep showing you the same color, by the way. So this is color 5, but I've got this very beautiful one here as well, which is color 2. We'll show that right here. And if you want to see what that looks up used up, Matt has found this picture in the user gallery. So there you can see what the color change looks like when the yarn gets worked up in a project. We do, on one of these skeins, you get 272 yards, 272 meters, that's 297 yards of yarn. They run you for, it's 100 grams, 3.5 ounces roughly, and it's a super fine yarn. It is recommended that you hand wash this yarn to keep it fresh for as long as possible. And in addition to the variation in thickness, one other thing you see is a little variation in color that is really interesting. You kind of have these parts where the viscose really shines through, giving it a really nice shiny look. So that's another thing. Not only do you get really beautiful colors, you get that beautiful variation, you get a very, very soft yarn. Despite there being 30% linen, even before you work it up, just to the touch, the linen is not very noticeable and is kind of worked in really well with the other softer materials. And then you get these little kind of almost sparks, almost like embers of flame that kind of pop up a little bit, or like a vein of gold. So this is Rococo Linen Multi. Matt is showing you the full color palette, the 6 colors that we have for this yarn. And if you're looking more for a solid option, we've got Rococo Linen that comes in these beautiful colors. So that is the... Someone asked what is written on my shirt. It says im Walzerschritt Fahrradfahren, so that's German. Walzerschritt is the steps of a waltz, and cycling means, and Fahrradfahren means to cycle. So it's essentially cycling to the steps of a waltz, roughly, is the translation. It's a merchandise from a German songwriter that I saw in concert last year. Tiffany says, I heard 200 years instead of yards and thought, accurate. I mean, Rococo. No, but it is 272 meters or 297 yards. So that's... our first two yarns, they are 40% off with our code HAPPY40 if you apply that. If you're shopping for more than $150 or equivalent in your currency, please use code HAPPY50 for 50% off instead. People are happy for the German lesson. I'm glad I could, you know, this can be your word of the day in German. Not quite sure when you would ever have to use it, but you know. Our next yarn that I have for you, I actually don't have in the studio, so I'm gonna have to show it to you on the website. I'm very, very sorry about that. I was actually very excited because it is a very different one. Ruth says that she signed up for Happy40 but didn't receive an email. It's not an email, Ruth. It's a direct message on Facebook, and it sometimes takes a few minutes to get to you. So yeah, it can take up to an hour. We've also had occasions where the messages got sent out after the live stream. So just but if you've typed it in the chat, unless you have blocked us from sending you messages on Facebook, you should be getting a message on Facebook with the link. But Matthias has also put the link in the video description on Facebook, pinned it in the chat on Facebook. It is also written in the event description on Facebook, and you should get a follow-up message to the live as well that has it. So yeah, but I hope you get the message soon in your inbox and can check out the landing page. Right, let's move on to our next yarn. And like I said, I don't have it in the studio, and I'm a bit sad about that because it is a yarn, I don't think we've had it on live shopping before, and it is a little bit of an unconventional material. So today we've got Raphaela for you, which is a yarn that is made out of raffia / paper. So it is made out of a paper material. Raffia is a paper that's made from palms, so very kind of similar to papyrus, I guess, in a way. So a really lovely material that behaves very interestingly when worked with. On one hand, it is kind of a little bit stiffer and more papery, but it still has enough flexibility to be worked up really well. You can make things like bags and baskets out of it. You can make various decorations out of it. I have a few rolls of it at home that I use for nothing else than wrapping presents with because it's just very pretty. So there is a bunch of different ways, and because it is a bit of an unconventional material, I was very excited to show it. The recommended hook or needle size is a 6mm roughly, and it runs you for 135 meters. That's 147 yards. Like I said, it is made from raffia, so a paper material. And it comes in a lot of really, really cool different colors. So there you can see the full color palette. We do recommend, or we don't recommend getting the yarn wet. It is a paper yarn. So if you make yourself a cute basket or a bag out of it or a hat out of it, just it'll deal fine with a few sprinkles. But if you want to take it to the beach, for instance, we would not recommend that. That's just good to know. In your household, it should be perfectly fine. We do have a few beautiful patterns though, so I'm going to show you those right now. You can see these beautiful baskets, and the basket itself is made out of Raphaela. The flowers are made out of a yarn that I'm going to talk to you about next, which is our Friends Cotton 84. So it's a lovely amalgamation of two of the yarns that we have on the show for you today. These wildflower baskets can be made in two different sizes. The pattern is available for free on our website, and it is an intermediate level crochet pattern. You have to make a lot of cute little flowers, but of course you can completely customize the design to your wishes, and then you can make the raffia basket as the base. If you're looking more for something like a cool tote, this is the Bring It tote bag made from Raphaela. It is an intermediate level crochet pattern that you can get for free on our website if you want to make yourself a cute bag. As I said, it's perfectly fine if there's 2 drops of rain that come in touch with it. If you're taking it to the beach, it may just get soaked, and then the paper gets a little brittle, and then you end up with a ripped bag, and you don't want that. And finally, we have a lovely brand new pattern. It is the Raffia Ripple Hat pattern. This super cute crochet pattern is for a really cool summer hat. It's a very laid back, very cool, stylish design. I really, really love the interplay of the colors. I think it's very in keeping with current fashion. And it's an intermediate level pattern that is also available for free. Erica's asking if there are any patterns for Rococo linen. Sadly, no. Sadly, not yet. It is a relatively new yarn, so I couldn't, yeah, I didn't have any that I could share. Sadly, not yet. But hopefully we will get them soon as well. Olivia is saying on YouTube that she's sitting at home with popcorn to watch her favorite show. I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for tuning in. So all of these patterns that I showed you were written for Raphaela, and all of them are linked on our landing page. So if you've typed Happy 40 into the chat, you should have gotten a message, or you should get a message pretty soon that will link you to that page. Matt has also linked it for you in the chat, in the video description, and in the event description. So I hope that you enjoy those patterns. I know that right now our website doesn't link from yarn to patterns, which is a little bit annoying. So we're kind of hoping that this is a good way that you can still get to check out those patterns. Because I did say that the Raphaela, the raffia, is a slightly more unconventional material, I actually have a little kind of poll that I wanted to do with you on Facebook. It's only on Facebook because we only have the technology for it on Facebook. It is completely fine if you just quickly answer. If you don't see it, don't worry. It's literally just for fun. And I was kind of wondering if there's a particular type of yarn that you do not enjoy working with at all. And I know that there's people who don't love working with anything that's super fuzzy. I know that people don't like super thick yarns because it can be a little bit tougher on your joints to work that up. I'm in the camp, I don't love the very, very, very thin yarn, so I would say actually sort of the thin parts of the Rococo linen multi is probably the thinnest that I've ever gone and enjoyed it. Or are you not bothered? Do you love all of them equally? So if you want, you can just vote on the poll. It's just for a little bit of fun. Someone is saying, like, if you search for the name of a yarn, the patterns should come up too. That works for some. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It always depends a little bit on how the patterns also are named, how they're written, how they're set up. But yeah, for the most part, it kind of does work that way. But that's also why the landing page will stay up longer than the deals. The deals expire tomorrow at 5 p.m. CET, which is the same time that the stream starts, so they're valid for exactly 24 hours. However, the landing page will actually be up until next Monday, most likely, so you can still check out the patterns there in a few days if you want. It will get changed in preparation for next week's live eventually, so just be aware of that. With that, I'm gonna quickly announce our first giveaway winner. Woo-woo! We're already at that point in the show to say congrats to our first winner. This person was drawn ahead of time at random from everyone who signed up to our Facebook event. And congratulations to our winner, Christy Marie Adams. Christy Marie Adams, Christy, please send us an email to live@hobbii.com to redeem your coupon. It's a coupon worth $25. Matt just turned on a random light in the corner for no reason. $25 or equivalent in your currency. Christy Marie, please include in the email where you are shopping from so we can make sure that the code works for you. Christy Marie, congratulations. You are our first winner. We do have 4 more giveaways today. We'll have 2 winners drawn at random from the chat on Facebook and YouTube. I will make sure to let you know when it's time to be active for that. We will have someone drawn at random from everyone watching on Instagram, and we will have someone drawn at random from everyone who gives us a little like on this Facebook video. So you still have 4 chances to win in total if you are joining on all the platforms, which why would you? But 3 chances at least. So don't be sad, is basically what I'm saying. Also, we're having a nice time and you're getting 40% off some pretty nice yarns. So I think that's also already worth being happy about. Congrats to Christy Marie, our first winner. And with that, we're going to move into our next bunch of yarns. And the next ones are cotton. I already teased them earlier because I showed you the wildflower basket pattern where the base is made with Raphaela, but the flowers are actually made with our friends Cotton 84. And as luck would have it, we have our friends Cotton 84 on the pile in the offer as part of the stream as well. And not just the 84, we've got the 88 as well. in case you're wondering about the difference between those two yarns, I will briefly explain. So Friends Cotton is our sort of main flagship cotton series, and it comes in 3 different sizes. We have 2 on the show today. What we have is in pink here, the Friends Cotton 8.4, and in brown, the Friends Cotton 8.8. Those numbers simply indicate the number of plies that each yarn is made up of. So the 8.4 is a yarn made up of 4 plies of a size 8 cotton, and the 8.8 is made up of an 8 ply of size 8 cotton. So this is kind of an old way of giving you the yarn weight or the yarn thickness. The 4 ply cotton, the cotton 8.4, is a fingering or sock weight yarn, and the 8.8 is a DK weight yarn, so twice the thickness, twice the fun. That also translates, of course, into the other kind of sizes. So you've got 175 yards on one of these, that's 160 meters, and on the 8.8 you've got roughly half that. You've got 75 yards, 75 meters, and 82 yards on the 8.8 cotton, that is. So roughly half the length, but twice the thickness. The recommended hook or needle size for the 8.4 cotton is a 2.5 to 3.5, and the recommended hook or needle size for the 8.8 cotton is a 3.5 to 4.5. So you're looking between these two about 1 size up for your hook or needle. So I'll just show you some more so you can see. So these two are the 8.4 cotton, and then next to it you'll see the 8.8. And I mean, you can just with your naked eye immediately kind of see the difference between them, and then just knowing they are exactly, this one's twice as big as this one. If you're ever sort of in the situation where you've started a project working with 8.8 cotton and you run out of a color, if we still carry that same color in the 8.4, what you can do is take 2 threads of this and work it up. It will be almost exactly the right size. However, of course, the structure of your stitches is going to look different between using 1 thread and using 2 threads. So it's not a perfect dupe, but it comes pretty close. And of course, depending on your type of project, especially if you want to just make it artistically integrate that little feature of, oh, and then there's like this much where it's a little bit different, then you can do that. So that's just good to know if you're waiting for a specific color to come back, or yeah, you're really working hard and you just want to finish your project with a little border and the color that you really want isn't there. You can always try and make it work with 2 threads of this instead of 1 for this. Cynthia saying, if the pattern calls for an 8.4 mercerized, can I swap that out for the regular 8.4? Yes, you can. 8.4 is a standardized size for yarn. There will be always slight variations, so you may get 5 meters extra or 10 yards extra on a skein here or there, but overall it is the same yarn weight throughout. So 8.4 mercerized simply means that the yarn was mercerized. Regular 8.4 wasn't. It is a absolutely lovely yarn for any kind of project. You can make everything from clothing to accessories to household, well, I suppose accessories as well, to toys to amigurumis. There isn't really anything you can't make with this. As it is 100% cotton, it is machine washable at medium temperature. You could even put it on high temperature. Just be aware that the color may fade a little bit faster, but overall the cotton can definitely handle it. And it is a really nice cotton family overall with loads of awesome patterns. One of such pattern is this super cute one. It is an intermediate level crochet pattern. This is the Millies Dog Bandana. Millies Dog Bandana, a cute little pattern for those of you who have a dog that actually likes wearing clothing. I know not all dogs do, but if yours does, you could crochet this cute little floral bandana. It is made in the 8.4 cotton, and I think looks absolutely adorable. I also think the dog modeling it is just very cute. That was part of the reason that I picked this pattern, because I think it is so cute. Karen's asking if 8.8 would make a good baby blanket. I would say so, yes, 100%. It will be a little bit weightier, of course, than if you make it with the 8.4, but definitely on the size of a baby blanket, that doesn't really make that big of a difference. 8/8 is my preferred size of cotton. I have started using the Pica-Pow 8/7 as well, which I also quite like, but that's again because as we've had the little poll, as we've had the little poll as well, I don't like working with yarns that are so thin. Like I think a 4mm or lower is like a 3.5mm is the lowest I could imagine going. 4mm is fine. I can see I'm in the minority here. Most people actually say that they like all yarns, and then I can see some people saying they're not super keen on very fuzzy yarns. I also understand that they are a little bit tougher to work with, and also a little bit tougher to maintain and keep fluffy for a long time. So I get that. It seems to be that the favorite seems to be thick yarns. Well, and then there's of course loads of people who said, well, I like all yarns. I kind of get that as well. Alrighty, so Christine is asking if the coupon works on any yarn or just the ones in the video. Only the ones that we have in the selection. So if you've typed Happy40 in the chat, you will get the link to this landing page, and the 12 yarns in that selection will be 40% off with code Happy40 or 50% off with code Happy50 if you surpass $150 in your cart. So that's that. These were Friends Cotton 8/4 and Friends Cotton 8/8, our 2 Cotton Hero yarns, which will be 40% off with code Happy40, 50% off with code Happy50 for 23.5 hours yet. This is also explained if the message that you get when you type Happy40, Happy50 also kind of reiterates how the codes work. So you should have the information there as well. Samantha says, I like thick yarns, but my wrists don't. Yeah, I get that. I didn't in the beginning. In the beginning, I thought, oh, they're so easy to work with. But then, especially if I've worked with ribbon a little bit more, and I found that because I wanted it really tight, I kind of discovered that, yeah, it takes a little bit of strength. So, and Mary's saying, our mini Schnauzer and Dachshund need those collars. If you do make them, please upload a picture. I do love some yarn. I do love some dog pictures. I'm gonna have to cough 1 second. I swallowed some of my, I inhaled some of my own spit while I was talking.
Oh no. Yeah. Known to happen.
Happens to the best of us,
Yeah.
eh? All right. And now I'm starting to cry because of the coughing. Oh no. I started using contact lenses recently. I'm still in the period of getting used to them, so I'm not wearing them on very long work days like today. But in a few weeks, you may see me without the reflections on my glasses, and it's actually been working surprisingly well. I've discovered I have no qualms about touching my own eye, so that's good. Yeah, they just had to readjust my prescription because I was like, yeah, you know, I get that weird fishbowl thing that you get when you wear glasses that are not quite right for you. And he was like, yeah, let's do an extra eye exam. Then he was like, yeah, we gave you the wrong prescription. I was like, cool. But yeah, anyway, let's go with the next yarn. And it is this beauty. The next one I have for you is Tweet Delight, one of my big faves.
You have many big faves.
I do have many big faves.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a top 10 at Hobbii, I would say Tweet Delight would be in it. If I had to
cool.
pick a top 5, might be tight.
Ooh.
But that's... maybe. It depends on what I'm making. I have a lot of skeins of it at home because I want to make a slip over and I want to make a cardigan. So this is Tweet Delight. And let me tell you, friends, it is a delight. It does exactly what it says on the label. This is the old label, by the way. Tweet Delight is a blend of 85% wool, 10% acrylic, and 5% viscose. Where's the viscose, you might ask? It's these little nubbins of color that are kind of loosely sitting on the thread. As you can see, it is only very, very loosely spun. And again, similar to the Rococo linen, you get a nice variation in thickness. So again, a very handmade, rustic feeling and looking yarn. As you work it up, the little nubbins of color get worked into your finished project, which then gives it that kind of tweedy look. It comes in a lot of different colors, so anything from the more sort of neutral corner to bright pink, or this color, which I think is called Pickle, and I find delightful. One of these skeins runs you for 100 meters or 110 yards roughly, and you want to use anywhere from a 5 to 6 millimeter hook or needle. It is such a fun yarn to work with. The wool is actually very, very soft to the touch. I would say it definitely has that kind of woolly feel, but if you're worried about it being irritating on your skin, this is one of the wool yarns that I would say is one of the softer normal wool yarns that we have, so non-merino yarns. Jessica is saying, I'm planning a trip to Copenhagen specifically to visit a Hobbii store. What are the yarns that I must get? Also, are all the online sales the same in store? Yes. So our stores offer the exact same sales and promotions as the website. They may not have all the yarns in stock. Also, if you come to Copenhagen, there actually is no Hobbii store in Copenhagen. The closest one is in Roskilde, which is only about 25-30 minutes away. So it's a very cute, charming little town. So if you're in Copenhagen, well worth taking a little day trip, I think, to go to maybe Roskilde and then maybe somewhere in the surrounding countryside as well, because it's very, very cute. So yeah, that's that. Tiffany's saying, I love how the tweed yarn looks. It looks very, very lovely on the skein, and it looks very, very nice used up. I've actually packed two patterns into the stream because I really want to show you what it looks like used up. And also, I finally, I feel sorry for all of you who are knitters. I promise there will be more knit patterns as well. I showed a lot of crochet. We're coming up on some knit patterns as well. The first one, though, is another crochet pattern. This is the Heart Clouds scarf. It's an intermediate crochet project, and it is made up of these little clusters of little hearts, basically, along the edge, and then this kind of, yeah, I suppose cloudy design. Could also be kind of just shells. This is the Heart Clouds scarf pattern, and here on this picture especially, you can see the lightest color of the Tweed Delight worked up with those little nubbins, just adding a little bit extra cool effect to it. This next pattern is a pattern that I've had bookmarked for a very long time, and I'm hoping that my knitting will progress to a point where I can make it. This is the Grandpa cardigan. It's made in, well, this one is made in this beautiful green color, but of course you can adjust the color. The little details you see there are added in Winterglow Solid, which is also coming up later, so you can actually get everything you need to make this today. This is the Grandpa cardigan. The cardigan is available or can be made in sizes small through XL, and it is a really, really lovely design, I think. I love the little extra details that you add with the Winterglow Solid. I think it looks super lovely. That was the Grandpa cardigan, in case any of you want to make it. Matt is pulling up the colors for the Tweed Delight, so you can check them out there and see exactly what you get or what you can get. And there we are. Speaking of coming to Copenhagen to visit Hobbii, there is another poll that we can put up right now because it is appropriate thematically. So this one is kind of a joke, and it came because I did a lot of packing yesterday for my upcoming trip. Imagine you're at the airport, you're going on holiday, and your suitcase is overweight and can't get on the flight. Would you leave behind your yarn? I've put various options. Of course, this is a joke scenario, but still. Are you the kind of person that says, absolutely not? I will go on holiday with zero underwear if I have to. I will not leave my yarn behind. Are you more of a, if everything else is also important or essential for the trip, I might actually take the yarn out? Are you the kind of person that says, well, I've got pockets, I've got, you know, whatever, I will jam it anywhere it can go on my person to take it with me? Or do you actually just not take yarn on holiday? Either because you don't need it because you'll be doing so many other things that you don't actually need yarn, or because you're maybe traveling and you'll just buy yarn when you get there. Because that's also an option. Then you'll have the problem maybe on the way back. So, you know. That is how it works. But since it was kind of thematically appropriate, I figure I'll put that little poll up right now because it's a, yeah, fun question to ponder, I suppose. I packed a lot of yarns for my trip, and I was looking at it thinking, what am I thinking? How much crafting do I think I will do? But then I thought, but I can't decide which one not to take, because what if I really want to do this project, and what if I finish it, and then I really need another project, and then I need this, and then I want this, and I'm seeing this friend, maybe I'll finish something for her in time. So you know, that's how it goes. Everyone's saying I'll simply just jam my yarn anywhere I can and carry it with me. And then the other parts are saying I will literally take like my underwear out of my luggage and keep the yarn. I am with you on both of those.
You could make yourself some new underwear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boom. Out of Tweet Delight. Maybe not. I don't know. Tweet Delight, we recommend that you hand wash, and like I said, you get 100 meters, 109 yards on one of these little donuts. It is very nice and soft, very nice and cozy. It is more of a fall and winter yarn, I would say, except if you're going to Germany where the weather forecast for next week is 20 degrees and rain for an entire week. So whoop whoop, go me. This was Tweet Delight. It is 40% off with our code HAPPY40. 50% off with our code HAPPY50 if you shop for more than $150 in total. So go grab it while you can and make yourself something nice and cozy. And with that, we are moving on to our next yarn. And before we do that, it is actually time for our next giveaway. So now it is important for those of you watching on Facebook and those of you watching on YouTube to make sure that you are watching live, that you're here with us right now, because we will now find a random winner from the chat. And all you need to do to participate is actually just type our secret code word, #giveaway, into the chat once. Once is enough. It will just randomly select someone. So #giveaway in the chat. From the time that the first person types it, we'll have a minute and a half on the clock to find our next winner. We are playing for a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And while that is happening, I'm going to grab the next few yarns so I can get ready to continue this little show. Get this show on the road, so to speak. Loads of #giveaway in the chat. I can see a lot of people were not into the idea of doing underwear out of wool. I agree. And then also a lot of other people were saying that you can just buy underwear when you get there. Like, also understandable. Also, to be fair, it doesn't have to be underwear. You can also pull out a sweater. I just figured, what is the one that's gonna maybe be the toughest to choose between? And I did think that that might be it. I hope this is not oversharing, but I don't know about anyone else, but I am the type of person where if I go away for, let's say, 5 nights, I will pack like 3 extra pairs because I am convinced that I'll have a terrible accident at least twice while I'm on holiday. So I'm the kind of person that always overpacks, overpacks underwear. Like,
I always assume that it
Yeah.
never happens in my real life.
Yeah,
But I always assume something's gonna happen.
Exactly. I'm like, I haven't had an accident since I was a child. But somehow I'm convinced that it's going to happen on every single vacation. Also, I'm always like, what if I fall into a pool? What if, like there's all of these different, like, what if? So that's the type of person I am. I can never do it. And we've got our next winner, and it is the lovely Ashley Elizabeth. Ashley Elizabeth, congrats. You are our second winner of the day, evening, afternoon, night. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Please email us to live@hobbii.com, Ashley Elizabeth, and thank you for participating. I am so happy to see on the chat that I am not alone in my overpacking ways there. I'm very glad that we're all the same. Like I will literally look at 2 t-shirts and go, yeah, those can go 10 days. I'm fine. I'll just air them out in between, wash one while I wear the other. All fine. Underpants, I'm like, let's take extra. Let's take twice as many as I'm gonna need.
I mean,
Make it make sense.
It doesn't feel too much, so it's easier to.
That is
to
true.
do
It takes up a lot less space. Yeah. You have a point there. I always pack for 2 days extra as well. Yeah, at least. It also depends on how long I'm going. It's happened to me before that I've packed for 3 weeks going to see family. And after week 1, I realized my mother has a washing machine. I can do laundry while I'm here. There was no need to pack 4 pairs of jeans. 1 would have sufficed. And then I'm a bit frustrated with myself for, carrying it around all the time. But yeah, c'est la vie. let's talk some more yarn, shall we? I've got coming up for you another wool yarn. And again, is it the right season for wool? I mean, it depends on where in the world you are, and again, what you're working on or what the next projects that you're going to be working on are. Since, you know, we're approaching the end of summer, so I could imagine that some of you may start to look more towards fall and winter wear. So we've got a 100% wool yarn for you today as well. This is Friends Wool. It is made from 100% wool. This wool truly is your friend. Similar to, well, not similar, exactly like the Friends cotton that I showed you earlier. This is part of our Friends line. You can recognize the Friends line because all the yarns just are called Friends something. We have anything from cotton to cotton blends to mohair blends to wool to merino. So there's a lot of variety in the Friends family. And what makes them Friends is quite simply that their colors are made to align. So the color palette is set up in such a way that if you pick up, for instance, color 110, this lovely green, you pick it up in a Friends wool, it's going to be this shade of green. You pick it up in a Friends cotton, it's going to be this shade of green. You pick it up in a mohair blend, it's going to be this shade of green. So color 110 will be the same across all colors if it comes in that color. So not every Friends yarn comes in all of the same colors. It's not going to be there. If they don't have it in 8.4, they won't have it in 8.8. So not every single Friends yarn comes in all of the Friends colors. The palette encompasses, I think, 200 shades. But if you are making a project and you want to make sure that you have a match, you can always check ahead of time which ones you will find a perfect match for. Matt is showing you the full color palette here. It is very vibrant, very fun, has everything from the sort of neutrals to a lot of the very lovely kind of pops of color. So like this kind of pumpkin-y orange right here. And it is a wool yarn that you can use to felt if you would like. So if you want to make a felted project, you can make it with Friends wool. If you do not, we recommend that you use a wool detergent and hand wash your project to make sure that the fibers don't get too much friction and too much heat and just stay very nice and separate in your project. It is a really cool yarn to work with. It is again a 100% wool yarn. In comparison to the Tweet Delight, I would say that this is slightly rougher on the skin. It is still not a super itchy wool, but again, if you're very sensitive, it's always a little bit hard to say what will feel scratchy to each individual person. I would say this kind of sits as like a medium on the woolly scale. So it's not super scratchy, but it's also not as soft as the Tweet Delight is, I would say. It is, or we recommend using between a 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter hook or needle for this yarn. And it works up great for anything from clothing to accessories, felted or non-felted. And one such beautiful item that you can make is this gorgeous cardigan. This is the Arezzo cardigan. It is a lovely, lovely piece. I will show it to you up close here. It is a knit piece, and as you can see, it also uses our Friends Kit Silk, so our mohair blend. You can omit that if you don't want it to be fuzzy and just use the Friends wool. And you can see it actually uses 2 strands of the Friends wool to give it that really nice chunky look. The pattern comes in sizes extra small to extra large, and I think what I'm wearing here is either the large or the extra large, and it is really nice and cozy and oversized. It is very warm, so I'm only going to wear it for a second, but I just wanted to show you since we have it here. This one is made from the color 110, but of course you can adjust the color completely to your liking. And I thought it'd be nice to be actually able to show you in person what it looks like. I love the sleeves. I'm also kind of a sweater paw person, so I will do this a lot if it's cold. I'm very much like, you will not see my hands. I will just walk around like this all the time. So this was Friends wool, and this is the Arezzo cardigan. If you're looking for a sweater instead of a cardigan, I also have this gorgeous pattern for you. It's also a free knitting pattern. This one is the Musu sweater. That is spelled M-U-S-U. The Musu sweater, a really, really lovely intermediate knit pattern. Size is small through extra large with that really cool little pop of not just color, but also texture in the form of that little square that has these little bubble stitches on top for a little bit of extra interest. So those are some beautiful ideas on what you can make with our friend's wool. It is a really fun yarn to work with. Someone asked if it snaps for people with high tension. So I have fairly high tension when I crochet. This has not snapped for me once while working with it. So this has stayed very nice and stable. As you can see, it is also very much kind of spun very evenly. So it is, maybe the orange is not the best color to show in the camera, but as you can see, so it is a really spun yarn, unlike the Tweed Delight, which is a lot more loose in its texture. Kimberly asks if that cardigan is on the landing page. Yes, it is. It is linked on the landing page for you. You can see it there. Next to it is the Copenhagen Slipover, which is another pattern that you can make with Friends Wool. I haven't included it in the live shopping today, but I've actually linked some extra patterns. So in case you need some extra inspiration, there will be a few patterns that I'm not showing on the show that will still pop up in the landing page.
Copy.
So that was our Friends Wool, and we're moving from a 100% wool yarn into another kind of more seasonally colder weather yarn, this time a wool acrylic blend. What I have for you now is Winterglow Solid. Winterglow Solid is again one of the yarns that has a little bit more variation in thickness. Not as much as the Tweed Delight does, or not as extreme as the Rococo Linen, but still good to know that you will get the same here. I love that I'm once again back to my roots and only showing you green. I'm gonna switch up the colors a little bit here. This one matches my nails quite nicely. It's color 33 in case you're curious. So what you get here is a, again, kind of more loosely spun thread made of 51% wool, 49% acrylic. In terms of softness, I would rank it same as the Tweed Delight, a little bit softer than the Friends Wool. That is my personal, very much skewed reference because I'm not very sensitive, so my skin can handle pretty much everything up to, like, I mean, I think I'll struggle with some like Pharaoh wool if it's constantly on my skin, but anything below that I can handle just fine. So it's a little bit more difficult.
It also makes sense since it's like an acrylic blend,
because
right?
this is an acrylic blend, it definitely softens the yarn quite a bit. It does not take away, however, the woolly warmth and goodness of the wool in here. You get 350 meters or 383 yards on one of these skeins, and we recommend that you use a 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter hook or needle. I've crocheted with this with a 5.5 millimeter hook, and that was great for me. We recommend that you hand wash this yarn to keep it beautiful for as long as possible. This yarn, I think, was featured a lot recently because it was part of a recent crochet along that we had. You can crochet with this, you can knit with this. It is very, 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 shall we count the greens again, says Tiffany. I mean, I think I've shown at least 4 today already, so we're getting there again.
Oh no, the greens!
Yvonne is saying, I'm very sensitive and I can't wear Winterglow. So that's good to know. See, if you are very, very sensitive, at least if you're making something with Winterglow, maybe don't make it something that sits directly on your skin. If you just turn it into like a cardigan that sits on top of a sweater, it may still work well for you. KA is saying, I've just finished 2 hexacardis with Winterglow Solid, one in avocado and one in cherry. They make up great lightweight garments for cool summer evenings. That sounds delightful. So yeah, this will keep you really, really nice and warm and cozy. And it is still kind of thin enough that it won't bulk up too much. I have picked some cute patterns to share with you. The first one is this shawl. This is the Melting Pot shawl. A intermediate level knit pattern for a nice big shawl to wrap up in. And of course, you can pick your own colors for the color work, depending on how you would like it to look. It's a really cool use of some different techniques. Maybe also a great project if you're already kind of an experience or like a little bit more experienced, but you want to try a lot of different techniques. It's a really cool way because you always have this one block and then another block and another block working up with the different techniques and different kind of stitches. Actually something that's probably also really well suited if you want to do kind of some kind of crochet or knit along. Well, in this case, knit along. So that was the Melting Pot shawl. And I also picked a crochet pattern. This is the Candy Sweater, a really cute crochet sweater. This one you can make in sizes extra small to 2XL. And of course, again, you choose the color blocking exactly to your liking, how you would like it. So a really nice project. I like that the example is also done in these slightly more toned down neutral colors, because I feel like sometimes when I see a pattern that is made in a really bright color, if that color isn't exactly what I like, I find it really hard to imagine it in another color option. Whereas if I see something very neutral, I don't know if everyone else is the same, that you kind of, once you see a more blank canvas, you find it a lot easier to kind of figure out how you would adjust the colors to your liking. Maybe I'm alone in that, maybe not. But both of those patterns, the melting pot shawl and the candy sweater, are also linked on our landing page, and they can be made using our Winterglow Solid, which is 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40, or 50% off, woohoo, with code HAPPY50, which applies once you spend more than $150 or equivalent in your currency. And that $150, so if you put $150 worth of live shopping yarn in your cart and you apply the code, that becomes $75, obviously. So pretty sweet deal if you're maybe looking to stock up on some of your faves. This was Winterglow Solid. And with that, we are going to actually move on to our next giveaway winner, because while we were all busy loving our lovely yarns and just appreciating their beauty, Matt was busy looking through Instagram, scouring Instagram, seeing loads of you commenting there as well, and he randomly picked a giveaway winner. Congratulations to our third winner of the night at The Hook Pod. So that is _hook_pod on Instagram. Congratulations, and well, happy Tuesday. You are the recipient of a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency, which you will get if you send us an email to live@hobbii.com. That is at The Hook Pod, so _hook_pod on Instagram. Congrats, you are our third winner of the night. A gift card, $25 is going to be yours once you send us that email. Congratulations! Woo, woo, woo. And with that, here's some more yarns. Can you guess which yarn this is? Probably. Most of you have seen the landing page, so you will know what else we have today. This next yarn is for all my alpaca fans out there. So we've had wool blend, we've had cotton, we've had cotton blends. What we haven't had is an alpaca yarn yet. So today I bring you soft alpaca. Soft alpaca does exactly what it says on the label. It is a 100% alpaca yarn that is very, very nice and soft and comes in a range of very lovely colors. All the colors have that kind of deeper shade, kind of a lot of jewel tones in there, and a very sort of natural palette. You get 165 meters, that's 180 yards on one of these, and the recommended hook or needle size is between a 3 and a 4 millimeter hook or needle. We do recommend that you hand wash this yarn to keep it fresh for as long as possible. Soft alpaca, a great alternative for some who don't like wool on their skin. Again, it's always a little bit difficult with the exact reason why your skin might be sensitive to wool. Could be allergies, could just be a bit of a sensitivity. Depending on what it is, if you know you would like to try an animal fiber that's really, really warm, that's really durable, that's great on, has kind of great insulation properties, give alpaca a try. It may just work for you. It may also not. I know that there's also plenty of people who can tolerate all kinds of wool but can't do alpaca. But just if you're kind of a bit sad about missing out, I would always recommend giving alpaca a little try. It is different in its structure, makeup, and also, well, fiber contents, obviously, from sheep's wool. So if it's certain aspects of sheep's wool that are irritating your skin, alpaca may not have those. always depends. It's always very case dependent. But yeah, if you've ruled out alpaca from the get-go because you can't tolerate wool, I would say it's not one and all. So it could be a great alternative for you. Matt is going to pull up the color palette. Someone asked what the green was I was holding. I don't remember what I was holding in terms of greens.
Do you have a green? No, you don't have a green.
I don't have a green here. Well, I mean, I guess I have a turquoise here, but that's color 16. So that's kind of greenish.
Yeah.
You could say. So if that one was the one, then... Donna apparently meant to write denim instead of demon. I unfortunately didn't see the original comment, but I'm very entertained by it already. Oh, the blue looks like like demon pants instead of denim pants. Demon pants. I love it.
Wow. Yeah. Can we check the user gallery?
Holly is saying soft alpaca is great to use with another yarn like acrylic to get a nice and somewhat fuzzy projects. That is a great tip. Matt is actually pulling up some projects made by you out there to show some ideas on what you could make with soft alpaca. There's this really cool kind of poncho shirt that we can see there. That looks super lovely. Very nice colors as well by Jurgita. Very pretty. There's a cute little alpaca made out of the soft alpaca. Jessica has made this really, really cute little amigurumi guy. Some lovely sweaters, lovely cardigans, lovely little hats.
Green.
Green! A lovely green sweater made from soft alpaca by Natalie. It's a September sweater, which I think is very fitting, and September is coming up faster than you think.
Yeah. Wow. It's going fast.
It is going fast. I was looking at the calendar and I could not believe that July is past. Almost.
Summer is like this.
Summer is slipping through our fingers. Wild. And it's been very rainy for the most point. Like, I don't want to complain too much, but especially the weeks that I had time off, the weather wasn't good.
True, yeah.
Some people are saying like autocorrect really stinks sometimes. Yeah. Yes. But I think demon pants are hilarious. So I'm actually with demon pants. I'm like, well, at least that's a really, really funny typo.
Maybe her phone is like possessed.
Yeah, because my autocorrect always just does like really annoying stuff. Like I'm trying to type done and it types none. So I'm like, people like it just looks like it's just a typo, but it's just like, oh, come on, like. Soft alpaca. 40% off with code HAPPY40, 50% off with code HAPPY50. You know what to do if you want to grab yourself some super fun alpaca yarn. You've come to the right place. You've come to the right show. Someone was asking about blending this with cotton. I can definitely see that working out really nicely. I personally haven't done it. I've only blended this with other alpaca blends. So I've used this with alpaca blaze, for instance, which is an acrylic and polyamide and alpaca blend, and that worked up really, really nicely. It is really, really cozy, great for the colder season ahead, also great for a summer evening in Copenhagen, honestly. Soft alpaca goes away, and out comes our next beautiful yarn, Portobello. So Portobello, we're back to blends. This is a 60% cotton, 28% acrylic, 12% wool blend with a fairly unique and interesting structure and color. So Portobello is made up of a cream colored cotton tube. So you have this chainette tube in the middle, and it has the acrylic and wool fibers blown into it, and those are dyed in a color. So the tube is always this neutral cream color, and then the color of the yarn actually comes from the fibers that are blown into it. There is a little bit of a variegation here, so you can see this teal has a little bit of more greenish and more bluish bits. Similarly, this green will have some flecks that go more towards a teal direction and some that go a little bit more kind of lime colored. This one's color 105 that I'm holding, and the teal is color 96. I've also got this lovely purple here that is color 70. As you can see with all of these, but especially I think the purple, the darker colors of Portobello, of course, the contrast with the cotton tube is going to pop out a little bit more. So it's always going to have that kind of slightly toned down quality to it, because the white always kind of makes it, yeah, well, a little variegated and a little bit more towards a lighter kind of undertone. You get 130 yards on one of these, or 120 meters, and we recommend that you use between a 4 to 5 millimeter hook or needle. Now with these chainette yarns, similar to Divina, similar to Cascata, I think I've said this before, as someone who has really high tension when crocheting, what I have noticed is that it helps me a lot to go up a hook size when I crochet with these yarns. Just because this yarn, especially with the cotton tube in the middle, the cotton already is a little bit more compact and a little bit more kind of structured as you work it up. If you go down too low in your hook size, you will get very, very kind of structured and very firm stitches. That just means that on the next row around, it can be a little bit tougher to get back into that stitch and work it. So if you, like me, work with a lot of tension on your thread, just do yourself the favor, size up your hook a little bit if you want a softer, flowier texture and a little bit of an easier time crocheting with it. So that's just my 2 cents regarding working with these kinds of yarns. The surface of it does feel a little bit woollier than you would think, considering it's only 12% wool. I wouldn't say it's scratchy at all, but the cotton tube definitely gives it, like I said, a little bit of a firmness that some other yarns that are made in a similar style, such as Divina, also don't have as much. So it is a yarn that definitely works for clothing. It definitely also works for things like, like bags or baskets. Also works for outer layers, also works for much anything else. If you want to make a cute little pillowcase, you can also use Portobello for that. Terry is saying, I've been waiting for happy 50 and it's actually my 66th birthday today. Congratulations, Terry!
Congrats!
I hope you have a beautiful birthday. Happy 50 sadly expires tomorrow, so it expires at 5 p.m. tomorrow. It is only valid for 24 hours, but I hope that you still enjoy your birthday and maybe get the chance to treat yourself to something nice. Maybe not necessarily yarn, but something for your beautiful birthday. Carol is asking, what size was the cardigan I was wearing earlier? I'm not sure. I think it was either a size extra large or large. I'm kind of tending towards maybe it was the size large, but I'm not 100% sure. It did not have a tag, sadly. Donna says, I have that problem with the turning chain. That is a workout. Yeah, I gave up a lot on these kinds of yarns very early on. And then I think it might have actually been Portobello. When this came out, I was like, oh, this is so pretty. I want to give it another shot. And then I learned I just need to, you know, adapt a little bit. This is something that Katie Jones said when I was talking to her about a project at one point. And she said, it is, you should always try to adjust your tools rather than trying to force yourself to adjust how you work, because it is a lot easier to work consistently if you make sure that your tools match exactly what you need to be doing, rather than you trying to constantly be like, work loosely, because then you put your project down, you're going to forget about it, and then you're going to be back to square one. So I found that to be really insightful from her. Portobello can be used for a variety of projects. I have picked out 2 beautiful patterns for you today that are clothing. So we've got this gorgeous sweater pattern. This is the Myla sweater, an intermediate level knit pattern that is available in sizes small to 2XL. This really cute, very, I would say, sort of simplistic design that still has a little bit of that detail. So it has that slightly oversized fit. You've got that really nice kind of raglan edge that is a little bit like kind of wider, and so has a really, really nice detail there. You've got a really lovely color, or a really lovely color choice, and just a gorgeous project overall. This is the Myla sweater, which you can download for free on our website, and it is of course linked on our landing page. If you're kind of like the idea of it, but you'd rather have a cardigan, this kind of has a similar vibe. This is the Sigrid cardigan, another intermediate level knit pattern, and that one is available in sizes small to large for a really cute cardigan, perfect for tonight, I would say. for a nice evening out in Copenhagen. Those patterns are linked on our landing page, so if you've typed Happy 40 in the chat, you will have gotten the link to that by now, hopefully. And you can find some more patterns there. I've also put some more Portobello patterns on the page if you want to check those out. With that, we're moving straight into our next giveaway. This one already picked from everyone who gave a like on this video, and congrats to our winner, Hobbii Copenhagen, or Colander. Holly, congratulations, you are a winner! You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Please make sure to send us an email to live@hobbii.com. That is Hobbii Copenhagen or Colander. Congratulations. Make sure to send us that email. I can see Amber asking, is one Portobello enough for the Louisa scarf? Ooh, that's an excellent question. So the smallest Louisa scarf I have ever made took about 125 meters of yarn. Can you quickly pull up Garland for me? So I'm making sure that I'm not giving them wrong information. I correct myself. It used 105 meters. So yes, I think you could. I think you could make this kind of smallest possible version of it, which I think has about this much room for the ties to kind of dangle. So yes, I think you can. I always calculate somewhere in the realm of like 110 to 130 meters, and so Portobello fits that bill. So I would say yes, you can. And with that, we're actually approaching our last two yarns of the night. And I'm going to quickly grab those. Thank you, Matt. Because we started with a dynamic duo, because we started with the Rococo Linen and Rococo Linen Multi, and we're finishing with a dynamic duo. And this one does go together in colors, because today I bring you Sultan and Sultan Solid. Sultan and Sultan Solid are two beautiful yarns made from 100% cotton, and these are your classic yarn cakes. What you get here is 4 individual cotton plies, 4 very thin strands that are not spun together, so they sit next to each other loosely, giving this cotton yarn a very nice and loose texture. It is a fingering or sock weight, so it's the same weight as the 8/4 cotton, and the 8/4 cotton is just like this, made up of 4 strands. The difference is just the 8/4 cotton is of course spun, so you get one very kind of solid thread, whereas here you get a lot of loose air pockets in between the fibers, a much looser, much softer, much kind of flowier texture. Sultan is a yarn that is excellent for shawls. It is excellent for thin summer clothing, for anything that you want to have that really lovely flowy texture. And it comes with its sister, brother, twin, cousin, Sultan Solid, which is made exactly the same way, and the colors of Sultan Solid are made to fit with the colors of Sultan. Sadly, I don't have a single example that shows that. All the yarns we have available to us don't match in color, but if you look up on the website, there is actually a list that shows you which of the solid colors will go with which of the Sultan and vice versa. So that's just good to know. And there, Matt's showing you where the list is. It's in the yarn description for both Sultan Solid and Sultan. So like I said, you have 4 thin plies of cotton here. The recommended hook or needle size is a 3 to 4 millimeter, so it is on the thinner side. And one thing that can make this a little bit trickier to work with is simply that because you have 4 loose plies next to each other, it is a lot easier to just kind of drop one, keep working, and then realize too late that you've accidentally lost one. So it's just good to keep practicing, keeping these together. It makes it a little bit tougher as a beginner, but as the time goes by, you will get the hang of it. One thing that many of you have recommended over time is that you put a nice kind of slightly heavier bead around the 4 threads so that there is something that holds the yarn together when you go from the cake to your project that you're working on, so that there is something that makes sure that you constantly pull them up together, and also it adds a little bit of a counterweight to it. So if you kind of drop one of them, that will show in your project. So it's always good to try keeping them together. And of course, their very loose unspun texture makes that a little bit trickier than on other yarns. Shiloh is asking if there is going to be a quiz time this week. Matt, can you confirm? Is there a quiz time this week?
There will indeed be a quiz time.
There will indeed be a quiz time. And actually, if you want a link to it, you can just type quiz 1 in the chat and you should get a link to it. So yes, there will be quiz time with Matt this Thursday where you can test your trivia knowledge and win some great prizes. So yes.
Same time as live shopping?
Same time as live shopping,
Yeah.
5 p.m. CET. I am going away, that is true, but quiz time is mostly Matt's baby, truly. I just stepped in for you when you were on holiday. So now that I'm going away, quiz time is happening as usual.
It is really fun when you have the time to make a quiz, because you have like this information that I will never be able to get as a non-crafter. It's great.
I mean, I just find a lot of information by accident. If you watched last week's quiz, I burst into the studio. When was it? On Wednesday, I think. Yeah, because I wasn't here Thursday, so I must have been Wednesday.
Yeah.
I burst into the studio. Matt was here, doing his job, and I walk in. I'm like, Matthias, do you know, can you guess which US institution has free crochet patterns on their website? And Matt just looked at me like, who are you? What are you doing here? Like, security, get this woman out of here. Because that morning on the train, I had actually seen on Instagram someone posting about it, and I discovered that the National Park Services, so the, organization that is in charge of the national parks in the USA, actually on their website offer a bunch of free crochet patterns, and that fact excited me so beyond belief. I went on their website, I looked up every single pattern they have. I already bookmarked which ones I might want to make. The halibut is currently my favorite. And just, it was so excited that I literally walked into the office. I told 5 colleagues I waited for Matthias to get in to immediately assault him with that fact. He I don't even know if I said hello. I just went,
did you know?
And then immediately went, can you put that in a quiz? And then Matt just kind of went, I mean, can you put that in a quiz? And I'm happy to put it on. And I was like, yes. So if you watched last week's quiz time, I hope that you enjoyed learning about that fact as much as I did. If you didn't join last week's quiz time, now you know. If you look up NPS crochet or National Park Service crochet, you will find a collection of adorable free crochet patterns, some written by sort of wildlife enthusiasts and I think donated, some written by actual park rangers that work for the NPS. And there is a lighthouse, there's a beaver, there's a little mountain goat, there's some fishes, there's various different kind of nature-inspired patterns that you can make, and all you need is written on the NPS website for free. And I think that is such a wholesome thing. It then made me curious what other institutions have free patterns. NASA has one, which I also was excited about. So yeah, Google National Park Service crochet if you want to check that out. There is a collection of a few of them, and it is so fun. So stuff like that you essentially learn on quiz time.
Yeah.
You can learn about crazy world records. You can learn about other exciting facts surrounding craft, surrounding yarn. And sometimes I will write a little quiz when I have the time. But this week I won't, because I'll be on break. So yeah. Now people are looking up. Gina just said the beaver's really cute. I love that I got to bring that to you. I love that I got to spread the good word. So where was I? I was talking about Sultan. So basically this yarn is excellent for shawls. It's excellent for any larger kind of project that you want with that really fine detail. So you can also use it to make maybe a table runner. You can of course use it to make clothing. You can see loads of beautiful summer dresses there, some cute wraps, a very beautiful rainbow hexagon cardigan. So many different gorgeous projects that you can make with this yarn. And if you want to add on a solid color, you can use Sultan Solid to help you along the way. So you can of course let's say you're making a top out of this or a shirt out of this and you would like the sleeves, excuse me, to match and be a solid color, then just check if there's a Salton Solid that works with the Salton that you've got, or vice versa, to build them together. Salton runs you 800 meters, that's 875 yards, and the Salton Solid is, of course, a little bit smaller. I mean, you can see that with your eyes. This runs you 400 meters, so 437 yards, so half the size of a Salton. Both of them otherwise same makeup, same way to work them up, 3 to 4 millimeter needles. Both of them machine washable at low to medium temperature, so great to take care of as well, and a really, really lovely and fun yarn for more summery projects, but again, all seasons, all weathers, anything that might come your way. So these were our final 2 yarns of the night, that is Salton and Salton Solid. Before that today, we've already had a lovely selection, including the Friends Cottons, both 8/4 and 8/8. If you want to ever match a Salton with another yarn, you don't want to use the Salton Solid. If you want to make something that's maybe a little bit more structured, the 8/4 cotton also works in terms of weight. It is, of course, a little bit different in terms of the structure, but just good for you to know. We also had some yarns for you wool lovers. We had 100% wool with Friends wool. We had a wool blend with the Tweed Delight, another one with Winterglow Solid. We had something for those of you who like kind of more artsy and a little bit more funky yarns with our Raphaela, which is a paper raffia yarn. We had our Rococo Linen and Rococo Linen Multi, and we had soft alpaca for those who want to use some alpaca, and Portobello. That kind of sits in the middle of all of those. So those were our yarns that we had for you today. I do owe one last person a $25 gift card, and we will find that person now. So everyone watching on Facebook and YouTube, make sure to type #giveaway in the chat one last time for a chance to participate on our final giveaway of the night, where you can then win a gift card of $25 or equivalent in your currency. I can see people asking what the difference is between Salton and Salton Deluxe. So they are kind of from the same family in the sense that they are both yarn cakes. They have the same type of gradient, which is where one of these 4 individual plies will change color at a time. So you get a really, really soft gradient across the entire cake. Salton Solid runs you for 200 extra meters. It runs you for 1,000 meters or 1,000 and some yards.
Oh, you did Deluxe, right?
Yeah, and Salton Deluxe is also a thread that is more spun. So here you genuinely just have 4 little plies of cotton next to each other. With the Salton Deluxe, you will have 1 thread. So it is a little bit different, both in terms of length, structure, and color. The overall idea of the gradient being 1 ply changes, then the next, then the next. So very, very, very gentle and very, very flowy throughout the project is the same. That's why they kind of belong to the same family, but they're not a perfect match for each other. If you want to make a pattern that is written for Salton, for Salton Solid, for Salton Deluxe, if you want to use Salton instead, just be aware that you are going to be missing about 200 meters of yarn. So you can, of course, either pick up a second Salton or pick your favorite Salton Solid to go with it and just add that on and then work that pattern as written. So that's just for those of you who are curious about the difference. Yeah, that is how you do it, as foretold. We are now finding our final winner of the night, and while we do that, I'm just quickly going to say a very, very big thank you to all of you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed. There will be a live shopping next week, and there will be a live shopping the week after that. We've got our lovely friend Christina stepping in for me. I will be back in the middle of August after I've done my little tour of seeing many, many friends and hanging out with loads of people. And then I'll, of course, be back for you. Congrats to our final winner, Anne-Nelly Buchmann, or Buckman, or Anne-Nelly Buchmann. Congratulations, you are our final winner, and please send us an email to live@hobbii.com. Matthias goes through that inbox at the very end of the week. So just know that you are our winner. If you email us now, we will make sure to send you your code ASAP. ASAP meaning when Matt's done with all the streams for the week. So tends to be Thursday nights or Fridays. And so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do remember that both Happy 40 and Happy 50 are going to be available for 22.5 hours. And you can treat yourself to some lovely, lovely yarns. Take care. I'll see you very, very soon. And thank you for watching. Bye!